Ah, let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
You know what, you're a fucking joke. No wonder the Avengers didn't take you, or the X-Men, and they'll take fucking anyone. I mean, you are a ridiculous, immature, half-wit moron. I have never met a more sadder, attention-starved, jabbering little prick in my entire life, and that says a lot, because I've been alive for more than 200 fucking years. And I'll tell ya, that bald chick was right about one thing. You will never save the world. You couldn't even save a relationship with a goddamn stripper. And motherfucker, I wish I could say that you die alone. But it's one of God's best jokes that you can't die, except it's on all of us. Well, you got nothing to say, mouth? So in case you can't tell, today's movie commentary is going to be on Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, I just want to make this clear, I really enjoyed this film. I think this film is so much fun. But as the months have gone by, I've kind of realized that the thing with this film is that whilst it is super entertaining and fun for a Marvel comic fan, and maybe even for the general audience, when you boil it down to a cohesive story, I mean, it's enjoyable. But I mean, when you boil this film down to its bare bones, what is this film's story about? Is it about how Wolverine and Deadpool save each other and ultimately that's how they become like best of friends? Like, the actual narrative of this film isn't super like compelling. Like, don't get me wrong, it's an absolutely fun watch. I love watching this movie, and after Logan, I feel like you kind of do need this film. Like, there was so much talk about this film being made and everyone's like, oh, they're gonna ruin the legacy of Logan. Oh, they're gonna damage that film. I rewatched Logan recently. I needed this film. Like, Logan is an absolutely heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching tragedy. It's absolutely phenomenally well made. The performances, the story, Logan's death, it's heartbreaking. And I remember that film finished and I was like really crushed. I was like, yeah, I kind of want to watch Deadpool and Wolverine right now. And like, look, there are holes in this movie. I will point them out. And the thing I found about this film too is that like, it's not incredibly rewatchable. Like, when I saw this film in the cinema, I saw it twice. And normally, if I love a film, I will watch it over and over and over again. But in my second watch through of Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, yeah, that's probably enough for now. Like, don't get me wrong, there are so many things in this film that I love, and I will talk about it when we get to them. But overall, the film itself, it's good, it's enjoyable, but there are so many things in it where I'm like, this could have been done better. Like, why is it done like this? But we'll get into those points throughout the commentary. But before we get into the commentary, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media. It's all down in the description. And don't forget to follow me specifically on Instagram and TikTok. That's where I'm most active. Oh, and don't forget to watch my latest short film, The Shining Optimism of E.F. Manar. Let me play the little clip here. Before we get into the video, I just want to quickly plug my latest short film, The Shining Optimism of E.F. Manar. Keep the spark alive. As dreamer and optimist E.F. Manar must find a way to keep his hopes and passions alive in a cynical world. Inspired by Wonka and The Greatest Showman, a lot of time, effort, love, and passion was put into this project, so I would really appreciate it if you guys could give it a watch. The film is linked down below in the description, and it's also on the homepage of my YouTube channel. I hope you guys watch it and really enjoy it. Anyways, back to the video. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the commentary for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Dun, 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 dun. That logo music just gets you pumped.
Okay, so fun little fact about the Marvel Studios logo. I'm not a fan of it anymore. I'm actually quite bored of it. Like, the music, it gets on my nerves now. I've heard this logo way too many times and it's way too long for its own good. It very much feels like Marvel Studios going, wow, we're the #1 movie franchise in the world. Look at how great we are. Look at all our stuff. And it's kind of like, yeah, I know, but it doesn't warrant this logo being, what, like a minute long? It's so long. Look, this is just a nitpick, but the thing that I found is that the old Marvel logo that used to play in front of, like, you know, the Fantastic Four, the old X-Men films, the Spider-Man films, that's the Marvel logo for me. The really quick, like, flicking of the panels and stuff. It was really quick. It was to the point. The Marvel Studios logo is just so self-indulgent, and it's like, look, I know Marvel is the #1 franchise in the world. Like, yes, you can have a big fancy logo, but, like, I'm tired of it. It plays in front of everything. And I think the thing that was the final nail in the coffin was when it played in front of every episode of every Disney Plus show. Like, when I used to watch the Marvel Disney Plus shows, I was like, oh my god, the logo again. I know I'm sounding super whiny and super negative. I know this is a nitpick. And the thing that I will say is I like how Deadpool, like, addresses the logo music and stuff. Like, most of the fourth wall breaks in this film are pretty good.
How are we gonna do this without dishonoring Logan's memory?
we're not.
Okay, so this whole thing about the movie disrespecting and dishonoring Logan. Look, that's the joke of it. That's what's quite funny about it. If you as a fan get insulted by this, I'm sorry. Like, why? It's a joke. This movie in no way, shape or form invalidates Logan. Like, you as an audience member, you still have it, whether it be on your DVD or Blu-ray or whatever streaming service or digital purchase you bought it from. You still have Logan. This movie in no way, shape or form goes, ugh, Logan sucks. How dare you like that film? What is wrong? No, it goes, yeah, that movie's great, and the way Logan dies in that film was great. But we want to have Wolverine and Deadpool together, so let's just make some fun with it. You may be wondering why the red suit. Well, that's so bad guys can't see me bleed. This guy's got the red idea. He wore the brown pants. I feel like that's an intentional reference to the first film, right? This movie, in some weird way, like, feels like a third film in a trilogy, but it also feels like its own separate and unique thing. Like, on the one hand, this film doesn't feel like a sequel to Deadpool 2, and we'll get to that when we get to, like, Wade's, like, birthday party scene, but for the most part, like, this fits within, like, the Deadpool trilogy structure. They all open with Deadpool narrations and such. Deadpool addresses the audience, how much time has passed. I feel like one of the criticisms you can't really lob at this film is that it doesn't feel like a Deadpool film. Like, it still feels in vein with the previous two films. Yes, there are some things here and there that don't line up and you're like, why is this character not here? Why is that character not here? But for the most part, it feels like a Deadpool film. And I feel like a lot of the DNA of these films is Ryan Reynolds. Also, I don't know why about this Deadpool film in particular, but I find this one to be like the most quotable. There are 206 bones in the human body. 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl. I don't know. It's really fun. I don't know if a lot of this is Ryan Reynolds' improv or if it's just the dialogue in the script, but it's just funny.
Okay, penis. Guess.
Okay. The opening to Deadpool 3 might be my favourite out of the trilogy, though the one thing I do dislike about this opening in comparison to the other two is that it gets rid of the self-referential directed by an asshat, or the writers are the real heroes of the film. It's kind of annoying that they got rid of that trope and they just had it be, you know, directed by Sean Levy, starring Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman. Like, that was one of the best jokes of the previous two Deadpool films, but like, I don't know, the overall energy and momentum of the opening intro sequence with NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, mwah. Incredible. It's been stuck in my head for months. Not only is Bye 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 like a really like catchy throwback song, but also it fits the scene, but also it's a reference to X2, X-Men United. You know, the scene when they escape from the mansion after Stryker invades it and Wolverine like puts on the radio and like bye 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 plays on. It's great. The layers of this song choice are really good. Though put a pin in the film soundtrack because I do want to raise up a point a little later on where I don't think this film's soundtrack is as good as the previous two films, but we'll get there. It's so good. The energy, the momentum, the dancing, mwah.
Thank you, sir, for seeing me.
Okay, so this scene with Deadpool and Happy Hogan is, I don't know. Thematically, it sets up Deadpool's character arc for the film, but overall, it's a bit of a hit and miss scene for me. First of all, how does Cable's watch allow him to travel to 616? Also, second thing, I really hate that the MCU is still doubling down on the movie continuity being 616. Like, no, you're the movie continuity. The fun thing about the comics having the designated Earth numbers for the multiverse is that you can say the comics are 616 and that's the original timeline. Like, why are you getting rid of the fun of it? Stop taking yourself so seriously. Like, yeah, just because you're the movies and you're the most popular thing, that does not make you like the original source material. And point 3, I think that's the point I'm on. Some of the Deadpool humor in the scene doesn't really land with me. Like the whole like smash debating thing is like, I could do without it.
Sugar Bear, it is.
Okay, Mr. Wilson.
So one of the things you'll notice about this film is the inclusion or extra additional material with Peter. Peter's really in this film to replace the Weasel character. I don't know why they didn't bother just recasting Weasel, but yeah, they just had the Peter actor and they just had him take the place of Weasel because obviously Ryan Reynolds and TJ Miller had a falling out. Though a thing I will say about this film is that you don't really notice it. Like, Weasel's absence isn't really felt. At least for me. Like, I feel like if you watch all three back to back, you'll be like, where's Weasel? But Weasel's like the one character where I'm like, I don't really miss him in this one.
Ayukio.
Hi, Wade.
Aikyo. Hi, Wade. That's like my favorite running joke in Deadpool 2. I love it, and I love that it continues in this one.
Hey, cocaine is the one thing that Feige said is off limits.
Why is cocaine the one thing that Kevin Feige wouldn't allow? That doesn't make any sense, huh? I'm curious now. I don't know if they're actually being serious or if that's like part of the joke. I'm actually genuinely interested now.
Yes.
So Kevin Feige will allow this like BDSM king thing, but he won't allow cocaine. Okay, one of the things I don't like about this film is the fact that Deadpool and Vanessa break up. Like, why? What is the point? The whole point of Deadpool 2 was that like he doesn't have her, and now he, you know, does something at the end to save her, and now they're not together. It's weird. Like, their whole reasoning as to why they break up in the film is the fact that she got shot at, but it's kind of like, did Wade not tell her the whole story about like how he went through the whole of Deadpool 2 and then found the magical time watch and then set time? He didn't tell her that? Okay, now going back to the point I mentioned earlier about how this doesn't really feel like a sequel to the previous two films. Where's Cable? Where's Domino? Where's Firefiend? I'm Russell. Firefiend. Firefiend. Oh, it's Firefiend, that's it. Where are they? That was like the whole thematic point of Deadpool 2 is that Deadpool finds his family in Domino, in Cable, in Firefiend, and they're just not in this film at all. Why could they just not get them? If that's the case, why didn't they make a joke about that? Like, that's the thing with Deadpool as a character. He can do that. He can make references as to, oh, we can't afford this person, or oh, they weren't available. But sometimes the films don't do that. Like, they do that a lot. They do it in this film with Magneto, but they don't do it for Cable and Domino and Russell.
Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
That line delivery is funnier in the trailer.
Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
I go by the name of Paradox, and you're sitting here at the TVA.
Oh god, here we go. Here's my least favorite part of this entire film, and that's the TVA. Look, I don't know why, every time the TVA show up, I roll my eyes. I'm like, oh, it's these guys again? Like, I'm not a massive fan of Loki Season 1. In many ways, I thought it felt like a knockoff of Doctor Who, or like it was trying to make Loki into something that he's not, which was Doctor Who. But I think my biggest issue with the TVA and the multiverse in the MCU is the fact that every time the TVA or the multiverse appears, the rules change. Like in this film, there's a thing called like the anchor being, but if that's the case, then is that relevant to like the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield stuff in No Way Home? But then I thought like the multiverse only happened because when you dream it creates a multiverse. It's dumb because then you get to Loki Season 1 and the multiverse concept is the same as it is in most other pieces of fiction where it's like, oh yeah, it's a parallel universe that happens because of, you know, key points, key decision making in, you know, the set timeline, you know, branching off. With the MCU and the multiverse, it changes all the time, and this film does address it. You know, the film makes fun of it for sure, but at the same time too, it still adheres to this new rule for the MCU with the TVA and the anchor being in the sacred timeline, and I'm like, enough.
Is that Thor? Is he crying?
Let's not.
Yeah, we're totally gonna see this scene in Doomsday or Secret Wars. Like, it's gonna happen. However, when it does happen, I want it to like happen in an organic way. Like, I don't want it to be like cringy and forced. Because, you know, sometimes the MCU will do that. They'll pay off something and you're like, okay, you said this up before, but the payoff is really cringy. So I'm just hoping that why the Thor crying thing is actually like somewhat, you know, relevant or impactful. The Marvel Jesus joke is a bit overplayed in this film, but when some of the jokes hit, they really hit. It's mainly the last one though at the end when it's like, he has risen, baby girl, but we'll get there. I really like that fourth wall break. I don't think he's done anything like that in the previous films. Like, yes, he's addressed the camera, but I don't think he's ever actively, like, grabbed the camera or, like, you know, pulled down the shotgun microphone and, like, talked audibly into it and such. I do think a funny joke that would have been, like, when it cuts back to, like, the regular film, I think it would have been funny if, like, we could still see the cameraman there just being like, what the hell, you broke my camera? Like, just off in the background.
Fucking A!
Now, the Deadpool costume in this film doesn't look too dissimilar to the previous films, but I really like the new colors. Like, the saturation of the red is just so much nicer.
That guy knows what I'm talking about.
His clothes say middle management, but his eyes say
Fucky.
That might be my favorite line delivery of the entire film. It's so good. I just randomly say it, just go, fucky. So good.
Fucky.
Like, at the end of the day, Ryan Reynolds is a fantastic Deadpool, and, like, I don't know who else you could, like, get to play this character. Like, he's so good in this role.
Get my country's name out of your fucking mouth.
Okay, that Will Smith reference is pretty funny. Like I said it earlier on, but Deadpool humor can be quite hit and miss. Some of the extreme sexual references doesn't always land with me, but, like, some of, like, the pop culture references and stuff, that's always really good in my opinion. I always find that to be quite amusing. Deadpool's sense of humor is something you either love or hate, and I find that most of the time I tend to like it, but other times I'm just like, not really that funny. Okay, now going to my point about the soundtrack, I do find that a lot of the song choices for this film's soundtrack is very basic. Like, there are some choices that I absolutely love, like Bye 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 and Like a Prayer. When Iris's Goo Goo Dolls kicks in, it's really good fun. But then there are some where I'm like, why? Why are we using The Power of Love? That's so... It's such a basic reference of like, oh, Back to the Future, the song was in Back to the Future, everyone likes this song. Yeah, I love that song. Back to the Future is my favorite movie, but like it just, when it's in this film, I'm like, you could have used like another song. Maybe it's because The Power of Love was written specifically for Back to the Future, that's why I find it a bit jarring. I don't know, when it plays in the film, it kind of just rubs me the wrong way, and I feel like that's kind of a basic choice. However, the Searching for Wolverine montage is hilarious, and I absolutely adore the comic-accurate height Wolverine.
Such a cute little Wolvie.
I think that that joke is really funny, and yes, whoever they decide to cast as the next Wolverine, it would be nice if they found an actor of a similar height to comic-accurate Wolverine, but the reason why the joke is funny in this film is that they composited Hugh Jackman's face onto a shorter actor. That's why the joke is funny. Like, I do think you can make a 5'3" Wolverine work in live action. You just have to find the right actor, and obviously Hugh Jackman is not 5'3", so the proportions are just massively off. I do find it funny how they reference Old Man Logan, but like in this film he's comic accurate Old Man Logan, even though we've seen Logan and that film is an adaptation. It was more like an in-name only adaptation of Old Man Logan.
Classic John Byrne Brown and tan. Now, you fought the Hulk in this outfit, no?
No, he didn't fight the Hulk in this outfit. He fought the Hulk in the yellow and blue, though I still appreciate the reference, and I do like the yellow and tan look in this film. Who knows, maybe the next time Hugh Jackman's Wolverine shows up, and yes, he will show up again, maybe he'll wear that one. That'd be really cool.
The Cavalrine.
The legends are true.
Okay, so let's talk about the Cavalrine. I think that the reference is really cool. I really adore it. However, when Deadpool goes, everything about this feels so right, for me it kind of doesn't. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Henry Cavill would do a fine job if he was to be cast as the MCU Wolverine. However, I don't know, like, there's something off about it. Like, in the scene, it's great. Them acknowledging the fan cast is really cool. And, you know, when he unsheathes his claws, he does the Mission Impossible, like, arm reload thing. That's cool. However, I just don't see Henry Cavill as Wolverine. To be fair, he also barely has any lines in this scene. But I don't know. There's something about this moment where I'm like, I don't know. I'm not in love with the casting choice of Henry Cavill as Wolverine. But also, too, I think that's all this is supposed to be. It's just supposed to be a little tip of the cap of like, hey, yeah, we know about this fan cast, but it's probably not going to happen.
You have outdone yourself and brought me the last Wolverine.
Okay, we're going to put a pin in this whole concept of this version of Wolverine being the worst Wolverine, because I've got some bones to pick with this. Like, I just think it's very... We'll get there. Everything about Deadpool and Wolverine in this film, their interaction, it just feels so authentic. Like, yes, this is how they interact in the comic books. Them just like needlessly fighting and shooting and stabbing each other. Mwah. The dynamic between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, you can see that they're having so much fun. Even though they're in character, you can just tell like they are loving this. And because they're loving this, I'm loving this, but also as a comic book fan, I'm like, yes, this is how they interact in the comics. I have seen criticisms from audience members being like, oh, all they do is just make gay jokes. And it's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of their interaction in the comics as well. Whether or not you think that's progressive is a different story, but like that is kind of their dynamic in the comics. Like Wolverine is the tough macho man, and you know, Deadpool is Deadpool. He's the pansexual character that does like all the crazy weird stuff and making all the weird sex references and jokes. And what you see on the screen is how their dynamic plays out in the comic books. And that's something I will say about this film too, though. Like, yes, whilst you can say it reduces Deadpool to making a bunch of gay jokes with Wolverine, the film does a decent job at, you know, accentuating Deadpool's, like, queer tendencies.
Let's fucking go.
Line made for the trailer is obvious. This fight between Deadpool and Wolverine is so much fun. I do like the more animalistic fighting style for Wolverine, where he's, like, kind of, like, crawling on the ground really rapidly like a Wolverine. I think that's really fun. The CGI is a bit dodgy there, but it's pretty cool to see. And whilst this action sequence is really fun, we see Deadpool and Wolverine going at it, and they're, you know, just stabbing each other and doing the things that you want to see. There are some things in this scene where I'm like, what? Like, Deadpool's katana clips through his shoulder? Like, what in the dodgy visual effects was that? Ah, but who cares? They're going shing, 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 ah!
I got this.
So Chris Evans' cameo as the Human Torch is really well done for the most part. There's like one thing that I wish they changed, but we'll get to that. Overall though, I love the fake reveal of everyone going, oh, it's him as Captain America, because he's wearing a Captain America-esque uniform. Like, yes, whilst he's wearing the top half of the Fantastic Four costume, he's wearing the Captain America trousers, and he's got like the wrist stuff that's all like Captain America based.
Avengers, flame on! Sorry, what now?
The one thing I would change is that when he screams flame on, there's like a beat before he like activates and becomes the Human Torch. There's something about the way that moment is edited that detracts from the moment of, oh my god, it's Johnny Storm. Like, the reveal itself is good. It's just the way it's edited. He's like, flame on! Beat. Now he like bursts off into flames. Like, I don't know, there's something awkward about it. Also, this moment here, I thought he died. I didn't realize that he was still alive. There's something about the way that like it plays. I'm like, this is like really overdone slapstick to the point where I'm like, oh no, he's dead. It's the fact that he lands on his head and then like also he lands on his neck. It's like, he should be dead.
People have waited decades for this fight.
I mean, really? Have we? Like, I feel like we as audiences are expecting Liev Schreiber's Sabretooth to fight Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, not this guy. You know, this is the same guy from the first X-Men film. And if it was Liev Schreiber, it would make more sense because the whole point of X-Men Origins Wolverine was that Wolverine was like, oh, I'm gonna cut off your goddamn head, which he does to Sabretooth here. So this being the original Sabretooth doesn't make any sense. Like, it would be funnier if we had both Sabretooths in this film. Also, Baby Knife is like a little joke that I really like in this film. I just think it's funny. It just keeps coming back. I also like the Mad Max Furiosa reference. I think that's quite fun. I mean, like, yes, that's the whole point of The Void. It's meant to mirror a Mad Max dystopian looking feel. So I like that the film kind of like, I don't know, not makes it like really obvious, but like, yeah, it makes the Mad Max homage quite obvious. But it's playful about it. I don't think it's cringy. I think it's quite fun.
You must be this year's Juggernaut.
Thank you.
I'd keep your voices down.
Sad thing about the Juggernaut is that it's not Vinnie Jones, but Vinnie Jones said he would never return to play Juggernaut, so that's kind of sad. Though I do kind of like the reference to the previous like Fox side characters that this film has, but they didn't really get much to do.
A Wolverine! I wondered when I'd get one of you.
So Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova is fine, but the character overall is kind of forgettable. Like, she has some like creepy weird moments with her CGI fingers and stuff, but overall, I wouldn't say like her character is super threatening or super memorable. She's just really powerful. Her performance is really good, but overall the character doesn't leave a lasting impact on me. I love that the post-credit scene shows that Deadpool wasn't lying about everything Johnny was saying about Cassandra, but why did he snitch on him? What was the point? Deadpool, what?
You just got him fucking killed.
Hey, we're all grieving.
Hey, we're all grieving! God damn, Ryan Reynolds is so good. And Hugh Jackman too. The look in his face, I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? What is wrong with you? You got him killed! Like, that is the main selling point of this film, is Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool and Wolverine together. That is literally the film. Okay, I did forget about this scene, kind of like explaining how Vanessa's just like, oh, you gotta find something bigger than yourself. And it's kind of like, he did though. That was the whole point of Deadpool 2, was that he found a family and then he went to save you because he was able to do it with the time travel stuff. Why are they not together in this film? I don't know, but I love like Cassandra Nova's mental manipulation of her, you know, twisting what Vanessa said, being like, you'll never fucking matter. I really liked that, and I thought that was really impactful when I saw the film. I was like, oh, that left something in me. That was, oh, that cut deep. Another thing too about Cassandra Nova is that she's really overpowered. Like, she can't die, and it's kind of like, okay, it's I don't know how interesting that is to watch. One of the things I really do like in terms of makeup is how they keep the staples and like bits of hair from Deadpool's toupee on his head. Like, I think that's a really fun little detail that the film keeps going. So you can tell that this scene is cut prematurely because if you've seen the trailer, there are more lines in that scene. I kind of wish that the scene itself was longer. Like, I do feel like this film actually kind of... I wouldn't say that it needs an extended cut, but I would like to see an extended cut because you can tell that there's more to this film. Or at least in terms of the interactions between Deadpool and Wolverine going for much longer. I do like the addition of Mary Poppins, aka Dogpool, and Nicepool in this film. They're quite fun. They lead to some really good funny jokes.
What do you mean, if?
Okay, here we go. Best scene in the film, the Honda Odyssey fight. Mwah, it's so good.
I didn't lie! You lied!
You lied! One more word. Please, give me one. A gubernatorial. Okay, I quote this line all the fucking time, and I have no idea why. It's just funny.
You couldn't even save a relationship with a goddamn stripper!
Hugh Jackman in the scene gives it his all, and he really just went, excuse me, I am an actor.
It's one of God's best jokes that you can't die, except it's on all of us!
Like, Hugh Jackman always delivers a fantastic, phenomenal performance, but like, he's really giving it his all in this. Like, this is the same energy he put in Prisoner. Like, Hugh, it's Deadpool and Wolverine, yet somehow he manages to make everything feel so sincere, so real, and I'm like, mwah. God bless you, Hugh Jackman. Thank you for, like, actually adhering to your given circumstances. Like, in that monologue, he says things like Bald Chick and Avengers and X-Men, and he makes it feel real and tangible. You're like, yeah, that's what this character would say. He doesn't degrade the lines and make it feel silly and childish. He just gives it his all, and I love him for it. So we get the Greatest Showman reference, and I do wish that it went on for a bit longer. I don't know, I remember they released the soundtrack for this film a little bit early, and they revealed that they had the Greatest Show in the film, and everyone was speculating, oh, there's gonna be a musical number, oh, they're just gonna randomly sing it, blah blah blah. But no, it literally is like a 1-second reference, and it's like, kind of wish they integrated it in just a little bit better. But a thing I really do like about the Honda Odyssey fight is that they film it like it's a sex scene, and it's quite funny. Also, the coexist sign might be one of the funniest subtle jokes in the entire film. I think it's just hilarious. So the scene that introduces Elektra, Blade, Gambit, and X-23, this is the point of the film where it goes, alright, we're gonna stop now so you can all clap and cheer at our cameos, and it's like, yeah, in the theatre, it felt a bit like that. But watching it at home, it's very apparent that this is the moment where the film just stops for like 2 minutes so that the audience can clap and cheer at the new cameos. And in terms of the cameos, the Wesley Snipes' Blade cameo is pretty good fun. I do like how they address some of the rivalry between Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes during the filming of Blade Trinity. The Elektra cameo is kind of nothing. Like, it's nice to see Jennifer Garner play Elektra again, but like, I don't know who was really begging to see her return as Elektra. Channing Tatum as Gambit is perfect. I will hear no bad words against him. He's a fantastic cameo. I love it.
The name's Remy Labo. Le Diable Blanc.
And overall, the gesture for Ryan Reynolds to be like, hey, Channing, you want to finally achieve your dream in playing Gambit? Here you go. Like, honestly, massive kudos and massive respect to Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy. Like, it's just so nice they went, hey, Channing, you never got to play Gambit, your favorite character. Here you go. And Daphne Keane returning as X-23 is something I don't know how I feel about in terms of, like, she's just here to just be a reference to Logan. Like, she doesn't really do much. Like, yes, we get the scene between her and Logan, but that scene should have been longer. It's really cut down. But also, too, like, this Logan hasn't met X-23, so, like, I don't know, the dynamic just feels a little bit off. Now, getting my complaints out of the way, this scene is so much fun to watch. The lines are really quotable and really funny. The name's Remy Labo. Le Diable Blanc. Call me the Gambit. Again, that's another thing I quote like all the time. Like, honestly, me and my friends, we just quote Gambit like all the time. I'm sorry, beautiful. I want this to be gentle, but who's your dialect coach? The Minions? I feel like we're missing critical exposition here. Also, that's a line I quote like all the time. Like, I don't know why. Just Ryan Reynolds' delivery of that line is mwah. It's perfect.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero.
That suit says different.
Now, the scene between Logan and X-23 is where I get some kind of major gripes with this interpretation of Wolverine and how this film keeps calling him the worst Wolverine, because he kind of isn't. Like, yes, he's lazy and he's a bit of a schlub and he's a bit of a loser, but in no way, shape or form is he the worst Wolverine as the film keeps calling him. Because when you boil it down, Wolverine is sad and doesn't want to be a hero anymore because he let the X-Men die because he got drunk at a bar one night and the humans came and they killed the X-Men and that's it. And it's like, really? Now, I know the film says he gets rageful and bitter and he starts killing innocent people and such, but really? Oh, I was at a bar and the humans came after the X-Men and killed them. Bah. I don't know why the film doesn't pay tribute to Old Man Logan the comic, where Wolverine kills all the X-Men because he's mind controlled by Mysterio into thinking that all the X-Men are actual supervillains. I give James Mangold's Logan a pass because they made Professor X kill the X-Men, and it's heartbreaking. But in this film, they have no excuse to be like, yeah, this Wolverine was mind-controlled and killed all the X-Men and he feels terrible about it. Like, if Wolverine was responsible for killing the X-Men, then it makes him wearing the suit that Jean and Scott and Professor X, you know, really wanted him to wear. It makes that way more impactful, because when Hugh talks about that later on in the film, when Wolverine has the whole monologue about how I wear this suit every day because it reminds me that I'm an X-Man, I am the X-Man, it's fantastic, it's great, he delivers it with such sincerity. It would have been nice though if we actually got to see this Wolverine interact with the X-Men, or in many ways feel partially responsible for killing his X-Men, his family. I also don't know why this scene is edited down and cuts out Laura's full response, but she's like, you were always the wrong guy until you won. Like, why did they cut it down?
You were always the wrong guy.
I don't know why the film flashes back to it later on. We could have just seen it now.
There's only been one Blade. There's only ever gonna be one Blade.
So that look from Deadpool, was that an intentional reference to the fact that Marvel Studios is struggling to get the new Blade film up and running? Or is it the fact of like Deadpool's going, yeah, no, there is another Blade, he just hasn't appeared yet? Either way, that line and that look is quite funny. Because goddamn Marvel Studios, it should not be that hard to make a Blade film.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself here. Again, who knew that Channing Tatum would somehow become a meme again by just doing a silly voice? My name's Jeff. Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
You just make sure people know what happened here today.
Honestly, his Gambit is so much fun. Like, Channing Tatum is not my ideal cast for Gambit, especially after watching X-Men 97. Like, after watching that show, I'm like, yeah, Austin Butler, that's who you get to play Gambit. But in terms of playing a more spoofy comedic spin on Gambit, he does it really well. Like, in this film, he fits perfectly. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't be able to pull off a more serious and mature version of Gambit, but for this film, he's perfect. And I feel like he could do well in, like, a solo Gambit thing, but, like, for this film specifically, playing jokey comedic Gambit, mwah, he's perfect. I won't lie, this action scene isn't great. It's filled with so much shaky cam. The choreography is really hindered by the cinematography. And whilst there are cool references to the previous X-Men side characters, and even the one from Punisher Warzone, or the first Punisher or something, the guy in like the, you know, red and white striped top, overall the action scene it's not amazing.
I started killing, and I couldn't stop.
This whole bit with Cassandra Nova and Wolverine is really good. Like, again, Hugh Jackman is giving it his all, the tortured pain and such. Mwah. Fantastic. I love Hugh. But that being said, I feel like we should have seen this Wolverine do all the horrible things he said he did. And I'm not saying we have to dedicate a lengthy amount of screen time to it. Just do quick flashes of him going around killing people. Just do like a really quick flashy montage as Cassandra's talking of him walking into the X-Mansion, finding all the X-Men dead. Like, film is a visual medium. I don't want to just be told this, I want to see it. Like, don't get me wrong, you see the pain, you hear the pain in Wolverine's voice. Hugh Jackman is selling the scene perfectly. Just in terms of from a storytelling point of view, I need a bit more. Especially considering how this film says that he's the worst Wolverine because, he got drunk at a bar whilst the humans went and killed the X-Men and it's all his fault. I need more.
Take it off!
I am wearing this suit, and that means a lot of things, but most of all, it means I'm an X-Man.
But this whole bit where Cassandra Nova might die and then Wolverine's like, no, take off the helmet, let her heal herself because Charles wouldn't want her to die. Especially if Charles knew about her, and if he knew about her, he would have torn down the entire Earth to go and find her and help her and make sure that she was cared for. All that stuff is amazing and Hugh sells it wonderfully because it's Hugh fucking Jackman. He's an incredible actor. The sincerity, the passion in his voice just mwah.
They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
Can make him do this till he's 90. You think that's a joke, but it's not. It's actually, it seems like it's a real strong possibility that's what's going to happen.
I don't want to destroy it. I want to use it.
So all Cassandra Nova wants to do is destroy the multiverse and then become God. Yeah, she's not super interesting as a villain. Again, Emma Corrin's performance is really good, but in terms of the character on paper, she's kind of paper thin.
Let's just take the L and move on.
Some people may find like the internet meme talk a bit cringy. I think it's quite funny. Maybe it's just because I'm more chronically online, but I just think it's quite fun.
Yes, let this man cook.
Like when Deadpool's like, yes, let this man cook and take the L. I just think that's fun. Purely because in many ways it's kind of like self-referential. It's a bunch of old people talking in like Gen Z talk. And I also do appreciate some of the self-referential hits Deadpool takes at the MCU. Like with the multiverse saga, just going like how, guys, it's enough, it's not working, you tried it and you failed and it doesn't work. I like that Deadpool and Marvel have like the balls to acknowledge, yeah, we tried this, it's not working, we're gonna commit to the end, we're gonna get to Secret Wars, and then we're gonna do something new. I also find this gag with Knightspool not being able to regenerate really funny, and how Deadpool's just like, oh no, you're gonna live, but oh no, he's dead, I'm just gonna take his really nice shiny guns that I wanted. Ooh, he finally put on the mask and it looks great, and it's just like, oh, it only took 20 fucking years to do it. Like, yes, whilst we only get it for like the last 10 minutes of the movie, it's awesome, it looks great. Like, yes, you can nitpick the hell out of, oh, where did the blue shoulder pads go? Why don't we have the blue shoulder pads? I know. I mean, the reason why he doesn't have the blue shoulder pads is because they wanted to show off Hugh Jackman's gym work. I mean, like, look at those shoulders, look at those guns. It doesn't ruin it, it still looks great. And the thing is too is that when he puts on the cowl, you can tell that Hugh Jackman really embodies Wolverine now. I remember in interviews he said like how when he finally put it on, like there was something right about it. He felt more, you know, more like Wolverine than he ever did before. And you can tell because his voice changes.
You save the good stuff for special occasions?
Killing mostly.
Killing mostly. Like when he says that, he feels so much like Wolverine. Like this is like comic animated Wolverine. This is Steve Blum Wolverine on the big screen. Whilst I admire the homage to Oldboy, I do think that this long take it's fine. It's not super impressive, but I mean, I appreciate the attempt. Also, yes, just to acknowledge, some of the Deadpool horde is a bunch of celebrity cameos, like Western Deadpool is Matthew McConaughey, Lady Deadpool is Blake Lively. Who plays the kid? I don't remember who plays Kid Deadpool. Oh, I think from a real quick Google search, that's Ryan Reynolds' kids. So, that's nice. Oh, this bit doesn't look good. Like, yes, they really want this moment to be like the big, fuck yeah, look at our heroes, look at the big action hero shot. But you have CGI Wolverine just standing around like an NPC doing this weird animation. It's like, what happened? Could they not get Hugh Jackman in for a day? Like, what happened? But the gag that the Deadpool horde they just killed all regenerating is actually quite fun. And the third act action set piece of Deadpool and Wolverine saving the multiverse is just the ending to Guardians 1 again. They save the multiverse with the power of friendship. But really, when you boil it down, this whole bit is just meant to be Ryan Reynolds going, hey Hugh, you are the best Wolverine. Thank you for playing this character for 20 plus years. That's literally what the end of the film is. It's just them going, hey Hugh, aren't you amazing?
I waited a long time for this team up. You're the best Wolverine.
And you know what? I'm all for that because yes, he is the best Wolverine. He will be the best Wolverine. Who else do you get to play Wolverine other than him? He's phenomenal. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's really, really big shoes to fill.
You got a whole world to go back to. I got nothing.
The sincerity he brings to Logan in this film, like, he really isn't phoning in this performance at all. He is just... He's in it, and I love him for it. This is why he's the best superhero actor, because he doesn't treat it like it's, you know, a paycheck, like it's a silly job. He really brings his all to this character. That is peak male physical form. Like, so, the effort this man puts into playing this character is astonishing. That's why, again, who do you get to play Wolverine? Who's gonna do this? Also, them saving the multiverse with the power of friendship is really good fun. The epic choir version of Like a Prayer playing in the background is just mwah. It's so good.
He has risen, baby girl.
Fuck! That's great. I love that. He has risen, baby girl. Fuck! It's so good. I really love the camp mannerisms that Ryan Reynolds instills into Deadpool in this film. Like, I don't think they were super apparent in the previous two, but in this one, he goes full camp, and I really appreciate that.
I'll probably see you around.
Probably not.
I mean, that's just a fucking lie, isn't it? He's gonna be in, like, every major event film Marvel plans in the future. Till he's 90. I also love the tribute video that plays over the end credits for this film, them celebrating the history of the Fox era of Marvel. I really love that. I think that's a really sweet touch. And yeah, that is my overall commentary for Deadpool and Wolverine. Overall, I do really enjoy this film. It's not a brilliant, sophisticated masterpiece or anything, but it's really good fun. There are silly things in this film that I don't entirely gel with, but overall, it's good fun. I enjoy it. The main selling point of this film is Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds being in the film together, playing Deadpool and Wolverine together, having them interact, and it's wonderful. This film brings a smile to my face, like, plain and simple. Like, yes, it is not Logan, but Logan is a different kind of film. This film is just meant to be good fun. People will call it slop. Yeah, but it's slop I enjoy. I'm not saying that this film needs to win any Oscars or anything, but Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are great in this. The overall film is entertaining and fun, and in many ways, I consider this a big win for Marvel. I haven't seen a film of theirs in a good while that I've enjoyed. Guardians 3 being the exception, but a lot of the stuff they've released recently, I haven't really bothered to watch. But Deadpool and Wolverine, I saw that twice, and I enjoyed it. But those are my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. What do you guys think about it in the comments down below? Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media, all the good stuff. Until we meet again, I'll see you guys next time. Let's fucking go.